and gent. Thank you for coming out to our third annual Women's History Month panel discussion. I am your host, Edith Thomas, and we're here to have a great time, right? Okay, that was a little mid. We're not at a festival, so I don't need no crazy stuff. But we're here to have a good time, right? There we go. I have 6 beautiful panelists coming to the stage, so I need you to make sure that you welcome them with open arms and give them a beautiful round of applause. Please help me welcome our 2026 Women's History Month panelists. And I will toss things over to our beautiful mayor, Patricia Guerra Frazier.
Hello, ladies. Happy Women's History Month. Woo-woo! All right. Good evening, everyone. It is truly a pleasure to welcome you to the Township of Union Women in Business and Leadership panel here at the beautiful Union Arts Center. How many of you have been here before? Awesome. Also, if you have not been here, please stick around, walk around. This is a beautiful state-of-the-art building. It is amazing. You have to check it out. So we are gathered here today to celebrate, honor, and uplift extraordinary women making powerful strides in our community, inspiring change, breaking barriers, and paving the way for future generations. Their strength, resilience, and dedication deserve our most profound admiration and praise. I would like to take a moment to extend a special welcome and gratitude to our esteemed panelists. Over here we have Tanita Clark, the owner of House of Playoke. How many of you have been there? A great time to go and karaoke and a bunch of different events, right? Yes, we'll talk about that later. We have Rachel Goldberg, Executive Director of the Liberty Hall Museum. How many of you have been to that museum? It is absolutely beautiful. Make sure we are celebrating our 250th anniversary as a nation, so make sure you go and check it out. It's beautiful. We have Janiyah James, owner of Brainiacs Daycare Center. Amazing. She has 2 locations here in town. So if you have little ones, check her out. We have Carrie Rickey, this year's Union County St. Patrick's Day Parade Grand Marshal. She is amazing. A whole lot of work going into preparing that parade. We have Donna Steinmetz, the wonderful Donna, Assistant VP and Branch Manager at BCB Bank and Treasurer of the Union Suffragettes Girls Softball League. If you have young girls ages 2nd grade, kindergarten to high school, make sure you register them to play softball. And then you have myself, Patricia Guerra Frazier, the first Latina mayor of the Township of Union. Woo, woo. Tonight, we look forward to hearing from each of our panelists as they share their insights and stories. Each one of these ladies brings a unique perspective and valuable experience to the table. Together, let's embrace the spirit of collaboration and empowerment. Before we continue, I'd like to take a moment to highlight our caterers from tonight. Did you guys eat? Wasn't that delicious? A heartfelt thank you to our fellow Latina, Liz Morales, owner of El Gordo Peruvian Eatery. She is located on Morris Avenue by Burnett Middle School. It is delicious. Make sure you check her out often. Liz has an incredible story of perseverance, dedication to her family, and culture. And we were proud to recognize her as our 2021 Shiro and Hispanic of the Year. She also served as one of our panelists in 2024. Let's give her a round of applause. Now it is my pleasure to welcome up our Union County Commissioner, the wonderful Michelle Dellisford. Come on up.
Good evening, everybody. This is a wonderful panel. Thank you all for coming out this evening. As a business owner and as a public servant, this panel represents it all, and members from the community as well. So I'm looking forward to learning a little bit more about what they have to say, and I'm looking forward to networking, and I encourage you all this evening to be sure to not only network, but to learn, but to help people climb up that's behind you. It's so important, and a lot of times we don't do that for one another. So again, thank you so much for coming. It is my honor to be here, and I look forward to networking with all of you. Have a great night.
Look, Ms. Dellisford is a shero in her own right. She's a business owner, an elected official, a mom. She does it all. She's amazing. Let's give her another round of applause. We also have the wonderful Assemblywoman, Annette Quijano. Woo, woo, woo. Come on up. Another shero, attorney, everything, judge, elected official. She does it all. She's amazing.
Good evening. So during Women's History Month, I find myself reflecting on the women who shaped my life. The strong women in my family, the mentors who open doors, and the many women in our community who lead with courage every single day. Today was interesting. I ended up chairing a committee on a bill that actually Senator Cryan is champion in the Senate, and I in the Assembly, along with a lot of other people, that has to do with algorithms and how food that you purchase, sometimes the price can be manipulated. And so it was an important committee to listen to both sides. I always let everyone speak because I think it's really important. The Assembly is, don't tell the senator in the Senate, but the people's house. So we always let everybody speak. But I gave them some rules of the game. As a public servant, I know how powerful it is when women come together to support each other and make space at the table for the next generation. Throughout my career, I've often been the only Latina and sometimes the only woman, depending on the topic that was being discussed. But I never forgot about the voices, the stories of the constituents, and I think it's very important. And women have power, and I know that not every woman has grown into her power, and you do that at different times of your life. And my mother, who had to raise me by herself, always thought education was important. And when someone told me not to raise my eyes so high to think I could be an attorney, she's like, don't worry about that. They don't know you. You and I, we know each other. And we know if you want to be an attorney, you're going to do the work. And so we made a pact. And women bring what skills they have. And here was my mother, who never went to college. She knew college was important. And guess what? When it came time to pay the tuition, everybody got a perm in her beauty shop. You got a perm, you got a perm, you got a perm, okay? Curly, body waves. But what she showed me was she made it work with what she had. She didn't allow circumstances to stop her. And when that tuition was due, that cash was on the table so that I would be equal to anyone else going into college. Now, I got grants and some other stuff. That was that gap that's so important to so many women who want to go to school and women who went to school and left it to raise a family and for them to now have the opportunity to go back. And so I always love to hear the stories of women. I learn something every time I hear a story because it's the sisterhood. And so many of us forget there is a sisterhood. And we should always be the safety net for the next person coming up. So I can't wait to hear your stories and to talk with everyone afterwards. And yes, the food was good. And it's especially good when somebody else cooks it.
She said something very, very important. We all have a story, right? So the panel is really all of you guys, right? So make sure you are mingling and talking to one another, because we each have a story and we each contribute, and we are all sheroes. So applause to you. Awesome. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Annette. Now I would like to welcome our committee woman, the wonderful Sandra Terrell, for a few words.
We're just gonna watch Patty tonight, y'all. We're just gonna watch her. I just want to reflect for 1 minute on something that Annette said about women having power. And I just want to challenge each of you, the women in this room, to recognize, yes, we all have power. Yes, we all come into that power at different times, but to recognize those that are trying to get there and help to bring them along. I think it's really important. I really believe that women could run the world. I have a lot of thoughts about that. And, at some point I'll share them. But I just think it's really important. And I want to also acknowledge the men in the room for coming out to support the women. So tonight we look forward to hearing from each of our panelists as they share their insights and stories. Each one of these lovely ladies brings a unique perspective and valuable experience to the table. Together, let's embrace the spirit of collaboration and empowerment. Before we continue, I'd like to take a moment to highlight, this is yours, Patty. Am I reading yours? You didn't turn the page for me? All right, so I'm truly honored to be surrounded by such inspiring and a distinguished group of panelists. Having been in your shoes before, I know these pre-panel jitters are real. Just remember, the only thing more nerve-wracking than being here is realizing that you left your notes at home. But I believe that none of you really need notes, right? It's all here. Remember your power. You're gonna be fantastic. I'm reminded, especially during this month, of the countless women, many unsung, whose courage and determination has shaped our world. Their stories are often overlooked, and I think we all kind of know that, right? The women's stories are often overlooked. And these stories have built the very foundation which we stand upon today. From trailblazers in civil rights and business to everyday heroes in our families and in our communities, their impact ripples across generations. Their sacrifices and triumphs urge us not to only honor their memory, but also to carry their work forward with purpose and pride. This reminds me that our stories are interconnected, each chapter building upon the last. Each of you here tonight forms a part of that ongoing story. Tonight, I want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to all the women in this room, beyond the ladies, and everyone of every background, every journey, and every dream. Your resilience, your brilliance, and your unwavering commitment to progress inspire others daily, reminding us all together we continue to move history forward. We continue to move history forward. Thank you for your presence, thank you for your power, and together we are unstoppable. And at this time, I'd like to reintroduce our moderator, Edith Thomas.
Thank you. Hi guys, how are we doing? Okay, y'all still failing the test. I stood over there and I asked y'all and I said, give me the energy. How we doing tonight, y'all? There we go. I love it. I love it. So I just once again want to thank you all for coming out tonight, the women and the 3 men. I think I've been counting. It keeps increasing by 1. 4. Okay, thank you for the assist. 4 men that are here tonight. Thank you so much for celebrating the women that we have here. It's actually my honor to moderate for the 3rd year this year. I think seeing every different woman that comes and sits on these chairs next to me, it feels like I'm going through the journey with you and I'm learning a little bit about you, but also about myself when I hear these answers and I reflect within you guys. So I had a whole thing written down I don't think I'm gonna read it, but tonight we are fortunate to hear from these amazing ladies, and after we do hear from them, we are going to have a Q&A, so we'll open up the floor to questions and answers, so feel free to take notes and really relate with the ladies here because they do have amazing stories to share, so I would like for you all to hear those stories and be a part of it. Okay, so I'm gonna kick things off with our first panelist, Tenida Clark. So, I'm reading all their bios, by the way. Tenida Clark is an entrepreneur, performer, and community builder based in Union, New Jersey. Her career uniquely blends creativity, business leadership, and a passion for bringing people together. Tenida first began her professional journey as a singer and songwriter, performing throughout the region and building a reputation for her ability to connect with audiences through music and entertainment. She later expanded her career into real estate as a professional with Coldwell Banker, helping families navigate one of the most important investments of their lives, homeownership. Today, Tenida is the co-owner of House of Playoki, a tapas-style restaurant and entertainment venue in the Township of Union. The venue has quickly become a hub for community engagement, hosting live music, karaoke, comedy shows, poetry nights, and cultural events. As a business owner and creative visionary, Tenida is passionate about supporting local artists, empowering women, and creating spaces where community and entrepreneurship thrive together. Please welcome Tenida. Yes, girl. Thank you for coming on. Maybe we'll have you intro with a song. How about that?
That I would love.
Maybe later. I'll get the karaoke screen going. Okay. Next up is Donna Steinmetz. Donna is the Assistant Vice President and Branch Manager of the Union Office of BCB Bank, where she has served since 2021. With more than 40 years of experience in the banking industry, Donna began her career through a high school work-study program and worked her way up from a floating teller to her current leadership role, gaining experience along the way as a commercial loan clerk. A graduate of Frank H. Morrill High School in Irvington, Donna has lived in the Township of Union for more than 30 years and has remained, only 30, girl? I thought he was like 21, get out of here. And has remained deeply involved in the community. She has served in leadership roles with organizations including the Union Rotary Club, where she is a past president, the Township of Union Recreation Board, the Suffragettes Girls Softball Organization, and the Union Girl Scouts. A lot under your belt. Her dedication to service has earned her several honors, including the Paul Harris Award from the Rotary and the You Are the Chamber Award from the Greater Union Chamber of Commerce. Donna is married and the proud mother of 2 children. Please give it up for Donna Steinmetz. And soon-to-be grandma. One thing I want to mention about Donna, her nails are always done. Like, her nails are always on point, and I'm like, girl, who are doing your nails? We got to go together. Just saying. Okay, next up, we have Rachel Goldberg. Rachel Goldberg is the executive director of Liberty Hall Museum, one of New Jersey's premier historic tourism destinations. Rachel's career at Liberty Hall began in 2008 when she joined the museum as an educator, leading public tours, working with school groups, and assisting with special events. After a year in that role, she was promoted to the coordinator of collections and exhibits, where she oversaw the museum's archival collections and helped develop exhibitions that interpret the site's history of modern audiences. In 2019, Rachel was selected to become executive director, where she now oversees the daily operations and long-term vision of the museum. She holds a Bachelor of Arts in History and Political Science from the University of Rhode Island, a master's degree in American History from Monmouth University, a Historic Preservation Certificate from Drew University, and most recently completed her Executive MBA at Rider University. Please give it up for the woman who loves school, Rachel Goldberg.
Real quick, sorry, at graduation, my dad's like, this is the last one, right? I'm like, yes, I'm done. We're good.
I know how he feels. I have a best friend that went to school for everything, and I'm like, girl, please stop.
He just doesn't want to sit to graduation, you know?
Next up, we have Janiyah James. Janiyah is an educator, entrepreneur, wife, and mother of 2 with a lifelong passion for children and education. A graduate of Fairleigh Dickinson University, she holds a bachelor's degree in science and a master's degree in school administration. Janiyah spent 13 years working in the Newark public school system, where she served as both a classroom teacher and a reading coach. During that time, she developed a strong commitment to helping young learners build the academic and life skills they need to succeed. Driven by a desire to create her own legacy in education, Janiyah transitioned into entrepreneurship and founded Brainiacs Childcare. For the past 14 years, she has successfully owned and operated the center, creating nurturing learning environments that support both the academic and social-emotional development of children. She recently expanded her impact by opening a second location, continuing her mission of supporting families and shaping the next generation of learners. Give it up for Janiyah. And as you can see with the outfit, she's got books on books on books. Another lover for the schools. I love it, I love it. Next up, we have my girl, partner in crime. She's like, I don't know who you're talking about. Carrie Ricky is a licensed social worker and board-certified oncology social worker who currently serves as the lead oncology social worker at the Carol G. Simon Cancer Center at Overlook Medical Center in Summit. That is a mouthful, I want to tell you. People just thought you were the Grand Marshal. Anyways, in her role, she provides guidance and support to patients and families navigating the emotional and practical challenges that come with a cancer diagnosis. Carrie earned her bachelor's degree in psychology from Fairfield University and her master's degree in social work from Rutgers University. Carrie was raised in Union and now lives in Scotch Plains with her husband and their 3 children. Beyond her professional work, Carrie has demonstrated an extraordinary commitment to community service. She has volunteered with Camp Fatima of New Jersey for more than 30 years and has been actively involved with Union County St. Patrick's Day Parade Committee for over 2 decades. She has served in several leadership roles within organization and is proud to serve as the 2026 Grand Marshal. Please give it up for Carrie Ricky. Now you're gonna have to tell us all what exactly you do, because I think they're all surprised, but welcome. And last but not least, Miss Strutting It herself, Patricia Guerra Frazier. It's a lot of bios, sorry, the R's aren't rolling. Is an educator, community advocate, and public servant who has dedicated more than 26 years to the field of education. Throughout her career, she has served as both a classroom teacher and a title coordinator, where she helped develop important support programs for students, including transportation and meal services for after-school and summer learning programs. Her commitment to service extends beyond the classroom. Patricia currently serves as the mayor of the Township of Union after previously serving as a township committeewoman, where she advocated for strong schools, safe neighborhoods, and support for small businesses. She is also the founder and director of HOPE, the Hispanic Organization for People's Empowerment, which for more than a decade, y'all can whoop whoop to that too, which for more than a decade has provided resources to the Latino community, including scholarships, civic engagement opportunities, and free adult ESL classes. Patricia continues to serve her community through education, leadership, and faith, while also balancing her role as a proud wife and mother of 2. Give it up for Miss Patricia, our mayor. All right, that was a lot of bios, let me just say. If you see me reaching over, it's because I need my tea. Okay, so now that we've learned a little bit, just a tad bit, about all of our panelists today, let's ask them some questions, right? And I promise they're not hard. We're sweating up here, so go easy on us, ladies, okay? These lights are bright. So I'm actually going to kick it off. Side note, I didn't tell them who's getting what questions. So they're like, Who's going up first? Who's getting the question first? I'm gonna let our mayor take the lead on that and answer our first question. Now, Mayor, each of you lead in a different space. You all do finance, healthcare, small businesses, culture, and community. What does leading the change look like in your field, not just as mayor as the Township of Union, but also in education? And how does being a woman shape how you lead?
I have to break down that question for me. So being a woman, and I'm sure you all experience, right? We lead with compassion. I don't want to bash the men, but we're a little bit more sensitive, right? With emotional intelligence. So we lead with a lot of empathy. We lead with a lot of care and compassion for our constituents, our students, right?
Absolutely.
As a teacher. And we lead with purpose, right? We see a void. Well, I see a void, and I aim to fill it. When I started Hope Inc., my husband is being naughty over there. So when I started Hope Inc., I noticed a void in the Latino community, right? They didn't have a voice. They didn't have a presence. So I started the Hispanic Organization for People's Empowerment to give them a voice and a seat at the table. We complain a lot, or we hear, right, people complaining, oh, well, speak the language. Well, how are we going to help, right? Let's, you know,
Exactly.
we see a problem, don't just talk about the problem. Let's fix it. So that's when we started to offer free ESL lessons. We also offer scholarships for students, right, who are graduating and they need that money, whether it is to, you know, buy books or a meal plan or whatever it is. It's not much, but it's a little something to help, right? Because we don't, especially women, we don't sit back and just complain. We see a problem and we roll up our sleeves and we make sure that it gets done.
I completely agree, and I love that you did that for your community too. And continue doing it. And actually, Rachel, I'll ask you the same question because personally, I'm not a woman of history at all. Like, history could have stayed in high school, for all I care, in elementary school. But I know it's hard to get not just women, but people excited to learn about our history, learn about everything that we have going on. And I think Liberty Hall Museum is a place that is exceptional for people in Union to just learn about. So I'll ask you the same question. What does leading the change look like in your field, and how does being a woman shape how you lead?
That's a great question. I really didn't want that one. All the ones. And as the mayor is speaking, I'm like, I'm next. And it's going to be the same question. And the wheels are spinning to be like, how can I answer this? To be honest, we see a lot of school children every year, and it's making history more accessible and really being able to tell everybody's story, no matter your age, color, race, just being as transparent as possible with the history of the museum itself and how we can bring in different histories and making it all cohesive. On a personal note, you know, it's funny because someone says, oh, do you want this job? That's kind of how I got this job. I was asked, and I was like, sometimes I say I was sold the bill of goods because they're like, you can do whatever you want. You can make the museum that you want. I have found personally that as our women's brains work, mine does not work well, but as women, we are always thinking 5 steps ahead, or like, why are we doing it the way that we're doing it? And I just had this conversation with an employee today about, you know, you do something, it's like, well, that's the way that you are told to do it. And so how can we make the behind the scenes easier and better and smarter? Why are we doing things the way that we're doing? And I've had a couple of staff changes at the museum recently, and it's been so exciting for me to be like, that's not the job that we should be doing anymore. We have to make the job different that fits us. We're outgrowing this part of the job. It needs to be something else. So personally, that's how I'm trying to lead the change. And just, I know it's like not a worldwide and women answer, but being the change of making the museum more efficient and just looking at the things that we're doing that's stupid and that we should be changing. So being a woman and being able to do that, because a bunch of men have led that museum and have leadership roles, not bashing men, but
I want you men to know that that comment is going to be stated a lot tonight. Not bashing bashing you. However, we could do it better. No, I'm glad that you mentioned that. Not that it's not worldwide or anything, but I think that's very relatable because in the sense, we all sit in positions that someone has had before, and probably 8 times out of 10, it was a man. So being able to see things differently and wanting to do it differently because we know it can be done probably better, and you taking that lead and doing that. So I feel like a lot of us have to incorporate that in our everyday lives.
Yeah. Work smarter, not harder.
Exactly. I love that motto. I try to say it all the time, but yet sometimes I'm still just working so darn hard. Okay, so this year's theme for Women's History Month is Leading the Change, Women Shaping a Sustainable Future. And the theme for Women's History Month is about shaping a sustainable future in your own journey. So I'm actually gonna toss this one over to one of our teachers over there, not the one who just answered, the next one. Janaya, I wanna ask you, in your own journey, what is one decision you made that changed the direction of your career or leadership path, and how did that decision help create long-term impact for others?
Ooh, okay, that's a lot.
We can break it down.
So one change, and let me just say I'm nervous, so this is a lesson. Take the opportunity, do it scared, do it nervous. I am so nervous right now. But do it. Either way, just do it. So I would say one change was for me to step out on faith and leave education, leave my security. But I had to do it because I knew that it was something greater for me.
Absolutely.
So that's why I'm saying do it nervous, do it scared, do it unsure, just do it. And because of that, the last part of the question was?
The last part of our question was, and how did that decision help create long-term impact for others?
It created long-term impact for my family. I showed my children that anything is possible. You can do it. You can work for yourself. It works. I gave them courage to do it. You can move however you want to move. I always say, if it's not me, then who?
Exactly.
So if you can do it. So it created a lot of opportunities. College for my children. It created finances for my family. It just created a wealth of things that I would not have been able to do working a 9-to-5. And I'm also creating opportunity for my other families because I believe in access. So I'm giving access to a great foundation for Black and brown children everywhere. And I can't even explain how passionate I am about the access that I give people.
I love that. I definitely do. And I want to say, I think the proof is in the pudding, because 14 years, correct? And now your second location. So you're providing a lot. Your impact is doing a lot for others. Your second location houses
34 children.
134 children. Girl, that's why I asked you this question. And Carrie, I'll also ask you as well, in your own journey, what is one decision you made that changed the direction of your career or leadership path?
I don't know if there's one in particular. I would say, though, I decided at some point in time to just say yes to things. Saying yes to, one time my supervisor said, could you come to this, it was, community cancer organizations, and they said, could you just 10 minutes on what you do with kids whose parents have cancer? Like, how do you do counseling for them? I said, sure, I brought all the toys, I did everything. I did a 10-minute thing, and then one of the women in the room said, we would love to have you come speak at our, conference. I said, sure, no problem. And then, sure enough, they said, and now we want you to come run groups at our program. So, it just kind of expanded because I said yes to one 10-minute thing, and you meet more people. My old boss years ago at my old job said, would you join this parade committee? And I walked into a room of people I had no idea. I thought I was in the wrong place, I'm going to be honest. And I walked in, and 20 years later, have met some of the most amazing people, and it has networked me with so many people. I would never have met you, right? I wouldn't have met the mayor. I wouldn't have met all of these people. And now I know in my circle that if I ever had a problem, if I ever needed something, I have a wide resource of people that I can pick up the phone and talk to and ask for help, not just in my career, but in my life. You know, you run into problems all the time in life. The nice lady at the bank. My family refers to Donna.
Shout out to Donna.
Refers to Donna and Marie as the nice lady at the bank because she has helped my mom with so many things. And my mom is, you know, a resident here in Union. And I worry that somebody would try to take advantage of her. And so I'll say to my siblings, we're going to send them to the nice ladies at the bank. And so, but I wouldn't have met them had it not been for the parade and again, it goes back to, you kind of backtrack on all of these things of how did I end up here in this room? How did I end up on the stage today? That's how I ended up on the stage.
And I love that you brought that up. No, I just wanted to mention, I love how you brought that. Yes, just say yes. A lot of the times we're like, oh, I don't think I'm going to be able to fit that. Oh, you know, that's not really my comfort zone. But the fact that you were able to say yes, here we are in front of all these beautiful women listening to our 2026 Grand Marshal.
But I will say, at some point, it is okay to say no. If you feel like there's too many things on your plate, you can say no and say, you know what, that one's not important. Which thing can I take off of my plate? Which one is not valuable? Which one is not bringing me joy? I always say that to people. Is it bringing you joy? Then it's important. So say yes. Say yes to things, try new things, you know, go outside your comfort zone, be a little uncomfortable sitting up here and say, you know what, and I'm going to meet all these great people.
Absolutely. Maybe
I just wanted to add, there's an excellent book called The Year of Yes. For the young ladies that are here, everyone should read it, but especially the young ladies here. It just shows you how you open up to many different opportunities by simply just saying yes and being present. Make sure you pick it up and read it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so I want to shift over to you, Tenida, because one thing I will say, opening up a karaoke spot in Union in downtown center, who would have thought? Like, no one would have thought that we would have had a karaoke spot with not just only karaoke, poetry, spoken word, and all that stuff. So I want to ask, women have always been change makers, which I feel you are, even when history didn't name them. Is there a woman, famous or personal, who inspires you how you lead and walk with a purpose today?
If you would have asked me this question a year ago, it would be my cousin Shimon. She was the one that I looked up to because she was strong-minded, she was career set, she was always steadfast in the family. She was the one that knew what she was gonna do and how she would do it. So I looked up to her for that. But today I'm gonna change that to my mom. I always looked over my mom because she stayed home, she just took care of us. She didn't have a career. But I watched her this past year just generally take care of my father while he was sick. And she was compassionate. She was in his corner no matter what. She didn't want anyone else there for him, no nurses or anything like that. She was the one who fully took care of him and was there. So now I see her as being strong, bold. I see her as being the one who hold it down for our family. And I never saw her like that before. So today and forever, she will be my she hero.
I'm pretty sure a lot of women could attest to that, having a mother, a great mother figure, and even in the opposite words of a not so great mother figure, so you either want to be like them or oppose them. You want to be something better than them. So I love that you got to see your mom in this light in a different time in your journey. So I appreciate you sharing that. Donna, I'll actually talk. You knew you were coming, Donna. You knew it had to be you. I want to ask you the same question. Is there a woman, famous or personal, it doesn't have to be Oprah and it doesn't have to be me, but who inspires you how you lead and walk with a purpose today?
Well, there are many. So it starts with my mom, because she's the one that created me. She's the one that gave me the compassion and to treat everybody fairly and respectfully.
Absolutely.
But in my lifetime, there's a lot of people, different people that you meet. There are, for different reasons. Like I was telling E in the back, her bubbly attitude. Every time I see her, she is always positive, always bubbling, and that you take in with you. So it may not just be one, it could be you take a little bit of everybody.
I love that.
Because we, as women, are the teachers. We teach our children how to be good people. We teach them how to be respectful, but, how to be good and independent people. And that's why I say it's everybody. And in that journey, I've had bosses who have taught me to stand up for myself. Because as women, people will tell you, you can't do that. Or they don't trust your word because you are a woman. And that you have to learn through different stages. And you have to learn to say, for people to tell you no. Or in different cultures, you have to learn about how they treat women. And I can be in a meeting where there are people who, because I'm a woman, would not shake my hand. But the man standing next to me, they would. And you have to deal with all of that. And this comes with all the education and everything you learn throughout life. So life is always a learning experience, and don't shut yourself off to that.
She quickly mentioned, teaching her kids, but she also taught her husband and trained him very well.
Shout out to him, though, in the audience. Look, he's ducking. Look at him. No, but I love that you mentioned that, Donna, because like you said, we pick up from everyone. So every year doing something like this, I love to listen to the answers that you ladies provide, because I sit back and I'm like, you know what, I really related to what Carrie said, because I didn't even see it in that light, but now that she spoke on it that way, I can see myself also addressing a situation in that manner. So, yes. Thank you. You'll see this a lot. I'm doing what the new kids do. This is what the young kids do.
That's a new thing.
It is. I'm getting it.
And you learn from even the younger generation.
Exactly. I didn't think that was
they
possible.
all learn differently. So,
they do. Clock it, Donna. Okay, so I'll actually open this question to everyone, and I want you to feel free to answer however it comes, in whatever order. What is one societal expectation or stereotype about women that you've had to challenge in your career, and how did you move past it? And I'll personally share, and I love to share this story sometimes because it makes me see how far I've come with certain things. So when I joined Union TV, I joined a year after college, and I was the student who didn't get to do the internships. I was the student who worked 2 jobs and did 18 credits a semester and had to put myself through college. So when you look at the resumes, it's like, oh, well, she doesn't really have much, and this person's got everything. And luckily, I do want to give a shout out to Sal. Sal, this is your one and only shout out. But I do want to give a shout out to Sal. That's fine. We already did all 4 questions. Okay. Sal and Natalie, who took a chance on me because I wasn't the student who had all these extracurricular activities on her resume, but I was the one who showed up and they said, hey, we have an impromptu script that we want you to read. Go ahead and do that. And I nailed it. Thank God I could read, but I nailed it, and they took a chance on me, and it was the first time where I felt like, you know what, even though I don't match up to what everyone else probably does, and they tell you you have to look like this and you have to sound like that, I still achieved more, and 6 years later, here I am, the face of Union. So,
exactly.
We're just breaking stereotypes and stuff. So what's one thing you feel as a stereotype for women that we've broken, or you've yourself personally, or you've seen throughout your years?
Oh, I'd like to answer that.
Of course.
One stereotype is that women are too emotional to lead, right? To be in power, right? We're gonna push that button and blow up the world. No, we're not.
Stupidest thing I've ever heard.
We are intelligent. We are wise. We are empathetic, but we could also lead with strength and power. And we're not gonna let people just walk all over us, right? We know this, right? We run our households, we run our husbands, we run our kids. Yes, you, Carl. So yes, I mean, it's a stereotype that women are weak, and we're not.
I love that.
Yeah.
I want to.
Yeah.
I think another stereotype that we can all relate to is that we can't have it all. We can't raise our children and have a career or succeed in our dreams, and we can. Because we do, right? So I just think that if you want anything bad enough, you'll do it. I got a master's with 2 kids. I went to work with 2 kids. I run 2 schools with 2 kids.
Yeah.
And I'm successful at all of it, thank God. But we can do it. So you can still have a family and still go after your dreams.
That's right.
Absolutely. Donna, I feel like you wanna.
Yeah, and it left my head. No, but one thing women are we think, and when it was brought, we think 5 steps ahead.
Yes.
If I make this decision, what's going to impact here? So that makes us way different, where men are, they put the blinders on, this is what they want, and and they don't care how this is just where we're gonna go. And that's the one thing that women, we don't do. We think about how it's gonna impact as women with families. Okay, well, if I go back to school, what is that going to do? How is that going to affect my raising of my children? How is that going to affect the money? Where some people will just say, I'm just going to do it. And we think things through, so we are not impulsive.
Absolutely.
Sometimes we can be, but put the thought to it and still do it. Don't let the fear of, oh, well, if I do that, it's going to hurt it. Everything in the end will work.
Yes.
You just have to go for what you believe in. And the other thing I'm going to say is put people around you that believe the way
Pour into you.
in what you want. If you want to succeed in being E, make sure you talk to her or do what she does. If you want to get into this stuff, or if you want to be a great teacher, you have 2 great teachers. Put yourself in the company of those who you want to be and get the positive energy from them and ask the questions. Don't ever be afraid to ask a question.
Absolutely. And I love that you said that. I learned this a couple of years ago, but birds of a feather flock together.
Absolutely.
And I say it now all the time because I love to keep a group next to me who I know who's going to uplift me.
Right.
Who I know when I'm down there, like, all right, Edith, you can't stay down there. Let's go ahead and bring you back up. Like, they're there and they're my support group. So I love that.
Because if you deal with people that are always negative, they will bring you down, and you need that positive person to bring you back out. Because if you deal with just negative thoughts, oh, you'll never do this, you'll never do this, then you're never going to accomplish whatever you want to do.
Absolutely.
In Spanish, my mother would say, dime con quién andas y te diré quién eres. Tell me who your friends are and I'll tell you who you are.
Yes.
So make sure to the young girls, surround yourself with positive people always.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Before I move on, did anyone want to add?
I might be the only one that works with almost all women because I work in healthcare, and so the majority of people in the cancer center are all women. The nurses, it's a huge, it's our support team. I brought the flyer in case anybody wanted the pictures. It's all women. And so, but I would say, and so the president of the hospital is now a woman, and so my boss is a woman, and my boss's boss is a woman. So it's a lot of female empowerment, and yet there's still certain jobs within healthcare that are very male focused, right? And so still the majority of doctors tend to be male. And so we have meetings and we have team meetings and we're talking about patients and realizing that your voice is just as important. That you don't have to, and it's not even just for me that they're male versus female, but it's just that they're the doctor, they're the important one. Sometimes what's most important today is actually the practical thing that didn't get them in the door because of whatever was happening at home with their kids and being too sick or transportation or all these different, all the things that come with having a cancer diagnosis. And so to say, I have a value here. And it's making sure that they know that you show up, that you do your job, and that you're all in this together and not just, I'm not gonna just take a back seat because you're the male doctor.
Yeah, no. I love that. Yes. Okay, so I want to go back to assigning questions. And Carrie, I'm sorry, but you're up next.
I'm very hot.
Carrie, how have you learned to claim your voice and authority in spaces where women, like you said, used to be male-dominated, but where women, especially women who didn't have a seat at the table, have historically been excluded?
So I would say is just realizing you don't have to be the loudest voice in the room, but back what you're saying with education and experience and knowledge of the people around you. When you come to the table telling stories of other people, you now are telling the stories for multiple people. Your voice is naturally louder. I don't have to come in here and start yelling, but if I come in here and I have the education, I know the Assemblywoman was talking about that earlier, the importance of having that education and not letting anybody tell you you can't go to school, you can't go to college, you can't get a master's and another master's degree because your dad doesn't want to sit another graduation. keep getting that education, but get that experience that gets you that seat at the table and let them know that that's this is all of value. You have something to say, and your voice should be heard. And again, you can do that in a gentle and kind way. You don't have to be loud about it or boisterous or anything else, but just kind of telling, and again, telling other people's stories. I also find that as a leader is to sit down and realize what you don't know and to say, you know what, E, I don't know your life experience, but would you share it with me? And then when we're sitting at a table, I now can come to the table in a different light because I know a little bit more about you.
Exactly. I love that. I don't know about me. I'm always the loudest, so maybe that's not going to work for me, but I'm taking it in. I'm taking it in.
Can I add to Carrie?
Yeah, of course.
It's so interesting because in a similar way, the first year that I was the executive director, I felt like I needed to change who I was because I'm in this different role. I have a personality, you know, I don't sugarcoat things, I say what I mean what I say. Sometimes I am explosive at work. I am emotional at work. And I spent so long just being like, okay, what's the proper way to say something? I should sound more professional. That was always my thing. I needed to sound more professional because I felt like, and I'm not sure if it was necessarily because I'm a woman or just because of the role that I have, but you need to show other people that you know what you're doing. And I've come to learn that, like, I know what I know what I don't know, but I know Liberty Hall. And I know what is best for Liberty Hall. And I am so confident in the direction of the museum. I'm so confident in the staff that I have, and celebrating a huge year, 250th. But like, this is who I am, right? I'm not going to be like, oh no, on the chart over here, that's not me. And that's never going to be me. So when I'm in a board meeting and I'm like, and then, you know, that was a really funny story. You know, is it professional? No, but it shows to my board that I'm an actual person, I'm a human. And to that point, like, you are who you are, and you shouldn't have to change who you are for anybody else or to fit into a mold or any of that, and to be more comfortable with who you, like, just be comfortable and be confident in that.
Absolutely. Don't ever let anyone dim your light. I know we struggle with that sometimes. I definitely have, but don't ever let anyone dim your light. You got that personality, go ahead and show it.
Right. Use it to my advantage, right?
Exactly.
That's why I sashayed down the
Not why you sashay, girl.
Totally worth it.
Tonight I want to ask you the same question because I feel like as a woman, as an entrepreneur, as a woman of color, sometimes it's impossible to get your voice heard, especially when a room is filled with men who think that they know better. So how do you feel like that, how have you been excluded, or how have you made your voice heard in that sense?
It's funny that you asked me that because speaking, it's not my thing. But singing, that is my thing. I have to open my mouth because closed mouths don't get fed. So I had to go out there and do what I needed to do. When I first started karaokeing, it was something that me and my girlfriend sat and in my dining room, drunk, and laughing with each other and said, hey, we're gonna start karaoke. And I was like, should we? And I went from restaurant to restaurant, and I had to open my mouth and tell them, this is what I'm doing. I'm gonna host, she's gonna DJ. She never DJ'd before, I never host before. And we're gonna bring it. We can bring a crowd. Didn't have a crowd. But I had to put myself out there and open my mouth. And when I opened my mouth, I realized that I have strength. That I have strength to do this. And we started DJing, we started hosting, and the crowd came. And it worked. I finally opened my mouth. So everyone out there, if you have something that you want to do, something that you want to be, open your mouth. You can do it, and you can be what you want to be. Just do it.
Yes, open your mouth. Unless you sound terrible singing, don't open it that way.
No, you can
keep that in the shower.
Sound terrible. Open your mouth if you sound terrible. You're gonna feel good afterwards. Believe
At her karaoke place. Go ahead and open it over there. Just kidding. Rachel, I'll ask you our next question. Women have historically done the work of holding communities together, often without recognition, as we all know. In your work today, how do you make sure leadership is not just successful, but meaningful?
I also did not want this question.
I'm giving you everything you wanted.
I think, give me just a second to like think for a
No,
minute.
definitely.
I think because Liberty Hall randomly has become a very female-dominant staff, which is awesome. We did a trend last week with all the baby pictures. As I'm sweeping through the baby pictures, I'm like, oh, that's a woman, that's a woman. I see them every day. I have senior staff meetings with them. So I think that's where I want to make it meaningful, is really for my staff. History has been a very male-dominated field. I see more and more women. I see the people who are applying for the jobs, women, and I want there to be a safe space for them, but I want to encourage other people to love history and be nerdy. So I think I want to change that answer or expand it somehow, but I just want the staff to know that like women can do anything, and we are running a museum where we see 20,000 visitors, we see 10,000 school children. They are seeing women in every role that we have there, and that's important. And when there's an opportunity to bring interns in or to have mentorships, fellowships, I'm always big at like going to do like internship, like start that, but like if they see other women doing it, it's not so scared, it's not, you're not so nerve. Like anybody can do it, but we do kick some ass if I'm honest. And we do everything. Yeah, that's the answer you're getting.
So wait, I just want to take a moment because although we're sitting on the panel and we're not necessarily your leaders, right? But we're answering these questions, well, y'all are answering these questions, and you're leading by example. So without you even answering the question the way you thought should be, you're still answering it very productively, because I feel like you're showing us all it's okay to be yourself and answer however you want to answer, because at the end of the day, that's how you feel, and that's what you feel is right. So we all sat here and we were like, yeah, girl, yeah, that wasn't an easy question, but you did it. So.
And none of these questions are easy, by the way, and they're long.
This is the third year. I can't keep asking the same thing. I'm sorry. But Janelle, also ask you the same thing. So I hope we were rotating those wheels there, but I'll ask again. Women have historically done work of holding communities together without recognition. And I know someone who is on their second location, probably they're just like, well, except the ladies in this room, but a lot of people don't give you the credit that you deserve. Raising our youth and our children is not easy. It's not easy. So in your work today, how do you make sure your leadership is not just successful, but meaningful?
So I was hoping that I didn't get this question either. And I was trying to think while she was talking, but it wasn't working. So what I hope is that I am inspiring other women. I hope that my staff and people, anybody that I come in contact, I hope they feel like they can do it. I hope that I am laying a good foundation for all the students that I come in contact with. And I just hope that I am a light to other people. That's all that I can think of meaning. I don't know, because I can't know how to answer this question.
That's great.
Well, can I say something? I think you said you have 124 students. So just walking in the door,
In one school.
124 students are watching a black woman run a school.
Yes.
So 124 kids are seeing what they can be one day.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Great
And
point.
not only that, you're educating children, but you're also employing people. You're giving people a job, right? And having them provide for their families. I think that's awesome.
How many people work under you? Too many. Too many to count.
About a good 25.
Yeah, that's a lot of men
gatekeeper
and women that are looking up to you, seeing what you're doing for. Y'all got this. You keep sweating these questions.
I'd like to add something to that. It's about leading by example. And so you want to always put your good foot first, but let them see when you do something wrong or when you fail and how you come back from that. And we're not always successful every day, every moment. But how we rebound from that is what we can leave to the younger generation. That, okay, I failed. Okay, well, how am I going to fix what I did? Okay, well, I'm going to do it this way. And that's where, growing and learning comes in, and learning every day.
Definitely. Thank you, Donna. Okay, so I do want to talk about how we balance, because a lot of the times it's like, I can't do this, I'm crashing, or right now this month I'm killing it, and I got this, and this on my plate. So women often lead while carrying multiple responsibilities, whether it be a mom, a wife, a sister, a brother, a caretaker, of anything, professionally and personally. What has resilience looked like for you, and how do you protect yourself from the burnout while still leading? And Carrie, I'm going to toss this one over to you first.
Sure. So balance, yes. I agree there's days where you think, oh my gosh, I'm doing too many things and I'm failing at all of it. And like I said before, it's okay to take something off your plate and say, my kids need to take priority today, or this needs to take priority today, so that you don't feel like you're failing at everything. When I have three teenagers, and they were born within 4 years. So when the oldest one was born, I went back to work 3 days a week. And my husband worked all the time. He was always working. He worked overnights. He was constantly working. And then when the youngest one was in kindergarten, I said, okay, I could do 4 days a week. That's my balance. I have to be home. I have like a lot of running around to do. I had a very supportive workplace, but also a lot of support at home, but my husband worked all the time. So about 2.5 years ago, he's a retired police officer. He retired 2.5 years ago, and now he works 20 hours a week, and I work full time. Oh, wow. And I'm here tonight because he is driving people around and feeding them dinner and doing all of the things. And so what I love about that is that my kids watched that I was the one at home supporting them more when they were young, and my husband was out doing the work and all of that. And now that he works less, he's home every day to get them off the bus, do all the running around that he needs to do with them, and watched him take a step back to watch their mom then focus on her career. And so I would say that partnership is what allowed us to have a great balance in terms of work-life balance. If we were both constantly out, it's a bit of a disaster. I'll say the pandemic was rough to live through.
That it was.
But really, it is the two of us as a partnership, and knowing that it isn't, as a husband, to say, I'm going to work 20 hours a week so my wife can go out and focus on her career. And my kids are watching that, not just my daughters, but my son too, and knowing that that's an important thing, that you're in this together and you can make it all work.
It's a good balance for them to see.
Yeah.
So I love that.
Can I add something to that?
Absolutely.
I believe that you have to fill the vessel you pour from, right? If you are worn out, you can't give, right? You can't give what you don't have. So make sure you get your mani and your pedis. Make sure you go to the spa. Whatever it is that get enough sleep. I've been up since 1 o'clock this morning. Today was one of those days. Menopause is horrible. that should be our next topic for next year. For real. But fill the cup that you pour from, right? If you have an empty cup, what are you going to pour? You can't. So make sure you take care of you.
I love that.
And I would say, so to follow up on the resilience part and what do you do for yourself kind of thing and to prevent burnout. I work in a cancer center all day, so I know that I am lucky to be sitting here. I know that I'm lucky to have gotten 46 years in life. I know that I won't do anything that I'm not enjoying because life's not worth it. And so when my kids were little, it got me out of a lot of work because I'd be like, oh, I want them to remember the mom that sat on the floor and played the game, not the mom who cleaned the dishes, right? And so to take a break and say, is this bringing me joy? And if you're doing something and it's not bringing you joy, it's not worth your time. I used to read a book from cover to cover because I was a nerd, and I started the book, I got to finish it, and now I get into it and I'm like, nah, I don't like this one. It's not worth my time, right? So is it worth your time? Is it giving you fulfillment and joy in some way? Are the people around you giving you joy and fulfillment? And then those are the people that you surround yourself with to give yourself that resilience to get through it all.
Definitely.
Can I add to that?
Absolutely, because I was tossing it to you.
I do want to say that when you're going after your goals and your dreams, you guys made it sound real nice. Sometimes I feel like burnout is inevitable. I don't think you can prevent it. So I don't want anybody to think that when you're going after your dreams, you will not get burned out, because you will. But just when you can, just take the time. And it doesn't have to be a long time, even if it's 10 minutes to just kind of sit down and decompress. then take it. But it's inevitable. You're gonna burn out because you're going hard after your goals and your dreams. So I don't want you to think that this comes effortless, because it doesn't. It comes with a lot of burnout, and it comes with a lot of hard work. But the burnout feels so good once you've accomplished whatever you went after.
Yes. I will agree to that. I love the feeling of like, man, I put in so much work, but then you have
It's
this
done.
beauty, and it's like, I did that. I definitely did that.
And it, again, it's like, even if it's driving home, you know, when you get home, okay, I know for me, when my girls were little, because they were calling me, Mom, Dad's doing this, or the kids are doing that. Well, when I got home, I know there was a mess going on and they were having an issue, so what I do, I sit in the car. My husband would come out and go, come on in. I'm like,
It's not that time
What's
yet.
going in there? I'm going to stay here where it's quiet. I'm going to depress myself because I don't want to get caught up in their crazy and be crazy from my day. So even if it's taking the 10 minutes just to sit in the peace of your car, or just driving, listening to music, or, as he said, getting your nails done. This is the one thing I do specifically for me because this makes me feel good.
Yes, as it should.
And that's all it is. And it's what, an hour of my day? Okay, so I took an hour just for me. Because life does get hard, you know, and as women, you'll find that, you know, you take care of your kids, you take care, and then you get to your parents, and then they get sick. And then you end up taking care of them, so that just adds on. So taking the time, the 10 minutes or the hour, or even just go for a drive and say, you know what, I just need peace. And just let it be that. And gather your thoughts. That'll rejuvenate you to give you the strength to then take that next step.
I love that you said that. And it's funny that you said that too. I have a best friend that sits in the car, the day is done. The day is complete, day is done. I'll FaceTime her and I'm like, oh, where are you coming from? Nah, just sitting in the car. How long you been sitting in the car? What time is it? And it's been like 45 minutes, she's still sitting in the car. I'm like,
absolutely.
So when are you going home? I'm home, I'm in the driveway, I'm parked right here.
I'm just not going to the crazy
I'm just
place
not
right
going
now.
there yet. I'm just enjoying my time, so I get that. Tonight I did want to ask you as well, but I feel like I already know my answer, well, your answer. I wanted to see, as a business owner, an entrepreneur, are you relaxing by singing, or you're done singing because you sang all day?
I love singing. Singing is my happy place. So I can be all burnt out, and when it's time for me to sing, I'm ready to go.
I love that.
Right? I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. My husband calls me the Energizer Bunny. He said, I'm just going to wind you up and you're going to go. So when it's time to sing, I'm ready to go. When it's time that I get home, that's when I'm like, I can't move anymore. I can't do this anymore. But singing is my outlet. I love singing. But everything that comes along with the restaurant, the scheduling, the ordering the food, the staff, I didn't think about all of that, right? So that is a lot to deal with. It's things that my husband and I didn't think about when we said we're gonna do this. We just spoke about all the happy moments. And it is a lot to deal with, and we have our ups, we have our downs, but in the moment of watching people sing and converse with each other, it makes me happy. Like this past Sunday, we had Jewish crowd over here, we had the old Italian ladies over here, we had the Brooklyn crew over here, and everybody was up singing and dancing and having a great time. I sat back and I looked and I was like, this is the moment that I wanted.
Yes.
This is what I wanted, because music brings people together no matter if you're black, white, short, old, whatever song you're gonna, they were singing in another language and everybody was like, so it definitely was worth it when I see people just happy and together and having a great time.
I love it. That feeling is just Okay, bear with me, ladies. I only have 2 more questions left for you, so. I wanted to hold you here forever, but no. I do have like a bed in the back. Okay, never mind. Okay, so Patty, I'm actually going to ask you this one. Historically, women were taught to compete for limited seats at the table, and we know the Township Committee, it's majority men. Y'all are great, whoever's out here. No, okay. It's majority men. Yeah, they said, we're going to skip this one. We've seen it 2 years in a row. It's majority men, but as women, you guys still make your presence known, and I love that. So historically, women were taught to compete for limited seats at the table. How do you approach collaboration instead, and why is that critical for creating a sustainable future?
So always keeping in mind that you have to make your presence felt, right? You have to make sure to speak up. Like somebody was saying before, right? Open your mouth. You have to talk, no matter how scared you are, no matter how wrong you think you may be, speak up. And you also have to remember that you were elected. So you were given this position so you can represent people. So you have to make sure that you listen to your constituents and then open up your mouth when you're at that table, right? You've been given the privilege to be at this table, so you cannot sit there and be quiet. And then also to remember that you're leading by example. People are watching, right? Your children, the kids are watching. The young girls are watching, so you have to make sure that you stand up and you get it done. Right?
Exactly. Donna, I'll ask you the same thing. How do you approach collaboration instead, and why is that critical for creating a sustainable future?
You realize you can't do it all by yourself. So everything is a collaborative effort. You have to ask the questions, but you also have to wait for the response and take it in and say, okay, well, I had this idea, but you know what they said, and let's work together. Because everything we do every day is a collaborative effort. I didn't create my children by themselves. They didn't learn by themselves, you know, but everything is we work together, and to make sure that everybody realizes they have a voice, and that's how we're going to make sure that it goes in the future. If they don't feel that they have a voice, they're not going to speak. They're going to keep their mouths closed. So if they have an outlet to say, okay, well, you know, Donna's listening to me. Let me give her, and that's how I, you know, let me give her my suggestion. You can do with it what you want, but at least you've been heard. And that's what I do with my team. It is a team. We're all together. So, okay, we have this goal. I know this is where we need to be. Okay, how are we going to do this together? And which part are you going to take in getting us there? And then holding everybody accountable. Because again, we didn't get to where we were by not being held accountable or not being a person of our word. And that's how we change. If we stick by what we say and we do what we say, then people are going to listen, male or female, and they're going to go, okay, this is the one I'm going to trust. Just like Carrie said, this is the one I trust with my mom, because they're going to listen to what she says, and then we're going to act on it. And that's what makes us different.
Absolutely. Before I move on, I just want to also put my 2 cents in it. I feel like for the younger women here, because us seasoned ladies have probably already experienced this, but there is so much room at the table for everybody. Like, you know the phrase, it's lonely at the top. It's not. Like, it's not lonely at the top if you make space for everyone around you. If someone doesn't want to work hard, okay, I get that point. But if you have the ability to help one another, why not? We don't have to fight somebody just to, no, both ideas can be shared. Both ideas, feelings about any certain thing can be shared and can be incorporated into one plan. It doesn't have to be, well, I think I'm better and I think this is how things should get done, so it's going to be that. No. There's a sister at the table. Hey, let's talk, let's chat, let's collaborate. We don't have to fight each other and be at each other's neck to be the one on top. There's room for everybody.
And realize we all come with different situations, different home lives, different work experiences, different life experiences. Exactly. So don't ever shut that out, because again, you know, I have, from all the knowledge that I have attained, that doesn't make what I've better than yours, but different perspectives. And listen to the younger people, because they're just as important as the voices of the older people, because they learn differently, they do things differently. They may have more knowledge on something than I have, and we can incorporate it together and move forward and continue to develop.
Absolutely. Keep clocking it, Donna. Okay, so I have our last question for myself, but then we will open the floor up to a Q&A. But I do want to ask all the ladies here personally to share. When you imagine a truly sustainable future for women and girls, economically, socially, and culturally, what does that future look like, and what role do women play in this room in shaping it? So anyone can go first, or I can pick you. Tonight is yours.
When I was in school, I had to take this speech class. I asked my husband, did he remember the professor? I can't remember her name, but she told me success is your happiness, your happy point. So I feel like every woman in here, if you're at your happy point in life, that is your success. You don't have to have all this money or this big career. You know, whatever makes you happy, you are successful because you reached your happiness. That's what I feel.
I'll go down the line. Rachel.
Again, this is not the question she wanted.
I'm gonna do some of this ditto. Ditto to that. Repeat the question.
Yes. What does that future look like of having a sustainable future for women and girls economically, socially, and culturally? And what role do women in this room help play shaping it?
I think being able to just show that we show up every day, whether it is for work, whether it is for our kids, our parents, our partners, that we do it every day, and that we can have it all, and that you just have to like persevere. And there are days where it sucks, and there are days where I am tired. I am burnt out right now, and I have no self-care routine. But that we just keep showing up, and that we just doing it. And I think for the future, I mean, who runs the world?
Girls.
Who runs the world?
Girls.
So like, and that was my post. Like, you think about how much stuff women do, right? On the fact that, like, on the bigger scale, we grow humans.
Yes.
and we can give birth. And then we go to work, and we are parents. Like, are you kidding me? Again, no offense to the men. You could never.
No.
You could never. And we have trained. There's a wonderful comic, and I'm not going to say it, but like she goes through this whole thing about what women have done and have trained our entire life to do. So you just have to show up, and yes, once we have women ruling the world all the time,
It'd be a great place.
it'll be fabulous.
Be a much better place. Again, no offense to the men. Thank you, Rachel. Carrie.
I think about two things with that. One is the idea of history, and so teaching my kids that, you know, in the early 1970s, a woman couldn't get a credit card and she couldn't buy a house, and that's not that long ago. And so I think we say like, oh, let's always look forward. No, we have to sometimes look back and say, this is where we were, and look how far we could come. And so, and then to sit at the table and say, isn't it awesome that the union mayor is a woman?
Yeah.
Right? Like, because your kids, because our kids hear what we're saying, and so we can teach them just by simple sentences that we say. And so if I come home and I say I sat on this panel and I leave it at that, but I can say, and isn't it awesome that the mayor is a woman, right? Like, and just bringing that to people's attention and bringing it to the forefront. And then a funny story about, so my daughter, she's 15 now, she'd be mortified if I told you the story, but she was 5 and she was in kindergarten and she was the star student and she had to like answer these questions about herself. And it was one of the questions was, what do you want to be when you grow up? And she goes, a cheetah. And I was like, write it on the paper. I'm not going to tell you. I will never tell you. Your mom will never say you can't be something. One day she's going to learn she can't be a cheetah, but it's not going to be. It's not going to be her mom that tells her she can't.
Yes.
And so I think it's just letting young girls and young women and young men know that they can be anything that they want to be, and then teaching them to how to be excited for the people around them who are in those positions already.
Absolutely, yes. Cheetah girls, cheetah sisters.
And I think she's ready to sing. You heard her down.
Rachel's like, no.
Let's all go to play hooky after this.
Patty, I'll ask you the same. We want a sustainable future for our women. What does that look like, and how us as women in this room help play a role in that?
So we have to make sure that we're not just doing it for ourselves, right? Just to be, because now I'm successful, now I'm mayor, right? We have to look at that path and make sure that we widen it for the girls coming behind us, and we have to make sure to mentor. One of my initiatives as mayor is the Junior Mayor Leadership Program, right? I want to help children learn, right? They can shadow me. We're gonna have workshops to teach them how to be leaders, right? Public speaking, time management, things of that nature. We have to make sure that every single one of us, each one teach one, right?
Yes.
Grab a young girl by the hand and let's let's make leadership normal. Right, for women. It can't be just, oh, you know, oh, she's a mayor, or she's the first Latina. Let's stop that first nonsense. It's, we are leaders, right?
Another one. That's what we need to say.
The next
Another
one, right? We are leaders. We run our households, right? We run everything. We run the world. So that's how we make it sustainable. We have to make sure we mentor.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'll move on next. Wait, pause. Girl, I've been saying Janaea or Janaya?
Janaea.
Janaea, okay. If I said it wrong, my apologies. But Janaea, you're up next.
I think I'm going to piggyback on what everybody has said. I think it looks like this. I think it looks like women helping women. I think it looks like forums so that women can hear other women. And I think it looks like us being mentors to people who want to be mentored and not competing. You asked about competing. Not competing, but opening ourselves up to other people.
Absolutely. And supporting one another.
And supporting, exactly.
Love it. Donna?
I think it's one step at a time. And if I can affect my one little section, then they will go and lead and do, and everybody takes that one step, and one leads the other one, because again, we can't do this by ourselves. So we need to have the ability to say, okay, well, I'm gonna work with this young lady, and I'm gonna give her the tools, and then I'm gonna challenge her now to make the life of somebody else different and impactful, and challenging everybody to just do one thing. And if your one thing is singing or perform or public speaking, or if you know that somebody is struggling, and ask the question, how can I help you? And making the difference in that one person's life can move it on and grow the whole thing, and show that we are impactful. We do make a difference every day. Absolutely. And that's it. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be, you know, what color, we're male, we're female. I made an impact today, and this is what I did. And empower yourself to do that.
Yes. Go ahead, Donna. All right. Wow. Yay. Can we just take a moment to give a round of applause to our ladies here in the room? My God, listen, when I tell you we picked an amazing panel, I mean it. You ladies give the gems of what we needed to hear tonight. Kicking mid-March, right? We're on the 18th? Yeah, mid-March, and this was the boost of like ladyship that I needed. Right. So I want to thank you all, but one more time, round of applause for our panelists. Now at this time, I do want to open up the floor to questions. So if our SID director, Antonio De Medici, could raise his hand, he will pass the mic around if you have a question. I see in the back, I see.
Can't be hard ones, come on.
We've already had those.
I gave them the hard ones tonight.
Hi, this was such a great panel. I have a question about balance. So my husband and I, we both recently stepped into leadership roles, and we have young children. And so you had mentioned, you know, your husband sort of like working when the children were younger, and then you being more at home, but we don't have that sort of flexibility in our life like right now. We both kind of feel a little burnt out with, like, you know, navigating new jobs, and then also having young children, and also like trying to steward our marriage. So just wondering if you have any tips for that.
I would love to answer that. You need a team, right? Like you said, you don't do anything by yourself.
Takes a village.
It takes a village, exactly that, right? That old African proverb. Make sure you have a support system, whether it's mom, auntie, another mom, right? So you're gonna take the kids to school today, I'll pick them up. Or you know, and everything you do, Make sure you take your kids with you. Like I remember bringing my daughter to my classes, right? When I was working on my master's, my doctorate I'm doing online, thank God, but it's still a whole lot of work. Just make time and take one day at a time. That's one thing I do. Like I'm gonna be on like 4 different panels. I was like, I can't read all these questions in one night. So I was like, I'm gonna concentrate on these questions last night, and then I have a panel tomorrow. So tonight when I go home, I'm gonna read those questions for tomorrow. One day at a time, and always have a team to help you out.
Absolutely.
And ask family and friends.
Yeah.
You know, if your children go to school, find a parent, because for me, when my kids were little, people would say, well, I had to be to work before they got to school. So I didn't develop friendships with the parents on the playground because I wasn't there. So I got them in activities, the Girl Scouts, and then I developed friends. And then you can ask, hey, can you watch? I want to have a couple hours with my husband. I want to do this. Can you give me a little bit of your time? And it starts with that. If I watch your kid today, can you watch mine tomorrow? And work it out that way. But it unfortunately, it does take a village. And, you know, we are all busy, and busy people always stay busy. And we always find the time, like Carrie said, we always say yes. But remember to ask. Don't be afraid to ever ask the question.
And ask for help.
Ask for help. Yes, absolutely.
I had somebody when I was in pre-Cana, so if you're Catholic, you have to go to this, like you have to go to church and have them teach you how to get married. So you go to pre-Cana classes, and the couple that ran mine had been married for like 45 years, and they said every Saturday night was their date night, and even if they didn't have a babysitter, they would get dressed up and they would go sit in their dining room and eat takeout or do something different. So even if they couldn't leave their house, that was their time together. And so finding an hour where it's just you and your husband to have dinner together, or an hour where you and your kids and your husband all sit together and play a game or go out to the park or do something that doesn't revolve around homework or work or getting to the next activity, because I have a lot of those moments where you're like, oh, I haven't left the car. I haven't left Union County, and I've been in the car for 5 hours. So just finding that little bit of time, even if it's somewhere in your house, and just making it feel a little bit different and a little bit special, but taking that time together.
Or I just want to add, or you can come to Brainiacs for Saturday care.
There you go.
And we have parent night out on Friday night from 7 to 11. So you can do that too.
Absolutely. Shameless plug. I love it.
For sure.
So we have another question in the back.
Yes, my question is for Donna, because she graduated from the same high school as myself. And I'm excited just to hear and see another woman not just stop at that diploma, but, become unstoppable. So what was that one thing that you accomplished that made you feel that you were unstoppable?
That is a good question.
I thought your questions were hard.
No, that's why I passed it to her.
I think it's my willingness to learn every day and to teach my children that everything we do, and my pride is my children. So my success is them. And that's how I learn. I set the example so they can be better people, so that they can move forward. So that's my drive, to make sure that I've made the right impression on them and give them to drive and show them that, okay, yes, it is hard work. Yes, did I sacrifice time with them? But now that my girls are here and they're older, my younger one is having a baby. So now I get to the things that I've missed maybe with them and spending the time, I can now use that experience and give it to my grandchild.
Yes.
So it's about I may have missed some. Okay, well now guess what? Now I get the extra time with my grandchild. Because I have lived enough where now I can say, you know what? I'm taking the time. I gave it up when they were younger, to fulfill my dream or to continue my drive and do that. But now it's time that I'm going to take and help with my grandchild. Thank you.
Another question in the back.
Hi, my name is Jasmine. I've spent over 10 years in education, nonprofit space, and recently, last year, I was laid off, And I just wanted to hear from your experience. Have you ever been laid off or fired? And how did you bounce back or overcome? Because it is, I know it's trending right now to be laid off, which is scary. But how did you bounce back? How did you overcome? And how did you get to where you are from that bounce back?
Well, I can speak to that. I was with a company for 30 years. And they decided to close the location I was. And they said, okay, well, your option is find another place in the company or take the package. I took the package. And then I allowed myself time to just relax and say, I don't have to get up for work. I mean, I had the home pressures, but I had, I had money coming in because that's what the package. But I took time just for me. And I refound that, okay, well, I went and sat on the beach for the day. I can do this. I can do this. But then I also changed careers slightly, and I went into something that I started working at a private detective agency. And I said, okay, the pressure of being in finance and dealing with all that. So I changed careers and went to something else, and then I had the opportunity to come back. And I came back with a whole new outlook, a whole new thing, and more collaboration, and just more respect for me and what I was going to take and not take from people. So sometimes that pause gives you a little time to reflect. Okay, well, you know what? I gathered all of this stuff. I have all of these things. I don't necessarily have to be a teacher, but I can go into this field because what I've learned over here, I can apply here. Don't allow what you do for a living to determine what that's going to be for the rest of your life. I have, in my business career, I work for a bank, so I've developed customer service skills. I learned how to answer the phone. I learned how to do computers. So in my next thing, okay, well, I don't necessarily want to be a banker, but I can go work in this office because, I can manage. I've managed all of this. I can manage an office. I can be a receptionist. I can do this. So don't let what you think is who you are create what you're going to be for the rest of your life. This is just a stepping stone. I've gotten all these things. Okay, well, you know what? I can use these tools, and I can go step over here. And that's how.
I wanted to add, I applied for a lot of positions. You said you're in education, right? Females are about 85%, right, of the employees or the faculty in education. But all of the leadership positions usually go to men, right? And I applied for many positions and didn't get it. But in the meantime, I kept educating myself, right? I'm working on my PhD. I have 2 more classes to go. I keep preparing so when the opportunity does come, that you are ready, right? Opportunity will always come. And guess what? I'm a true believer in God, and He will give you what you're supposed to have. So I always look back and I'm like, that was not for me. And I may not have gotten that leadership position, but now I'm the mayor. Like, hello, right? So, and if I would have been in that position, I probably wouldn't have gotten this position.
Absolutely.
Something is there for you, specifically for you, and prepared.
And sometimes when you're not looking, that's when it happens.
Yep.
So keep yourself open to all opportunities, and don't shut yourself off to that.
Nope.
That may not be the salary I was making, but that's going to give me the opportunity. And guess what? It may grow because you may make connections. And she's better in this position, and then you grow.
And don't be afraid to fail. Just
Exactly.
saying. Do not be afraid to fail. I think it took me a year and a half out of college because, you graduate college and everyone's like, all right, I've got this degree in communications, in media and film. Let's get a job. And it's so hard to get that job because nobody wants to hire, okay, you got some cool fancy degree with TV. Who's hiring you for that? But Union TV did. So I just want to shout them out because I was trying. Thank you. Okay, second shout out, Sal, I guess. But I just want to say that I was doing such weird jobs because I was like, you know what? I'm going to find it eventually. I'm going to find that one job. So I'm manager at a hotel or I'm doing something else. And then finally, I found my family, my little home. So.
And like I said, don't let no is no at this moment. Doesn't mean it's no forever.
Anthony.
Yep.
It's not going to be long.
That's okay.
First off, my name is
The young
Hawaiian.
girls had a question back there.
Okay.
My name is Hawaiian Thompson. That's, Hawaiian. like Hawaiian Punch, just to check it out. First, I'd like to say this was an awesome panelists, because a lot of times we come to panel discussions and we're waiting for Michelle Obama to speak, right? Or we're waiting for this educational answer, but you all were all authentic selves. I love you. But she's like, I don't know, I don't feel like that. That's the answer I want. But on top of that is because we read her, you all read her bio, so you thinking she's educated, she got this, and she is, but she's her authentic self. So the question I have is, what do you do, or what do you say to yourself to overcome the critical thinking and the negative thinking that may be in your mind, as well as procrastination? Because I know a lot of women out here, we have a lot of ideas, always thinking that always in our minds, but then we start saying we can't do this, or we have negative thoughts.
I say surround yourself with people who make you want to be the best version of yourself and always see the best in you. If you're surrounding yourself by people, we talked about negative energy, but people who are putting you down or not letting you live up to that, if you have the mom who tells you not to be a cheetah, right? Like those are, you want to be around people who are bringing out the best in you and telling you that you can do that you can do those things, and then that becomes that self-talk in your head of, I can do this, I can do it. I can make a difference. I can do whatever it is that you set out to do, but it's kind of just changing that self-talk, and sometimes that means changing the people that are in the room with you.
And I want to say, I surround myself with authentic friends that call me on my BS, like when I'm down too long. And they'll say, hey, you said you were going to do this. What happened? And they don't let me forget that that's what I said. And then they also kind of fuel me when I'm doing good. So they motivate me. They give me that battery pack to go. So that's what kind of helps me. But sometimes it's hard, but it helps because they don't let me quit.
Absolutely. I want to agree with what she just said. You need that team to boost you. Shout out to Carlos, Bill, Don, Joe crying, right? They say, Patty, just be your authentic self. And they just push me out there no matter how silly I can be. Just be you. Go ahead, you're going to be all right. And it works every single time. And it's because they give me that support and that love.
Absolutely. I would like to say something. Hawaiian is my cousin that I just met. She herself is that person that encouraged you, and she gives me that encouragement from when I first met her. Like, she has her Delta sisters, and she's like, I'm gonna tell everybody about you. I'm gonna go to your place, don't worry about it, I'm gonna be there. And she has. So she is the one that does that. She always encourages and lifts up. So for her to ask that, don't ever second guess yourself, because you are amazing and phenomenal, and you have always been there for me and encouraged me to do what I'm doing. So thank you so much for being
That was nice.
I'm going to go in a little opposite direction. I am extremely hard on myself. And as soon as I have one little thing of someone dinging my confidence, because I already have enough issues with my confidence in this role, I just spiral. Thank you to my therapist that I see every other week. I think that I let myself wallow a little bit. I let myself spiral a little bit, much to the chagrin of my loved ones. But then I do try to think about how badass I actually am, right? Like, all the things that I've actually done or that I've accomplished, or like, I said it before, like just getting up every day and just like doing what you do. But like, it's okay to be hard on yourself to a certain extent. It's okay to not be confident all the time and doubt yourself. That's life, that's human, that's what makes us who we are. But we all have things that we've either overcome. Sometimes it's just getting up in the morning, getting your kids out the door. The hardest part of my day is getting those 2 children out.
Yes, amen.
And a lot of cursing. But I have an awesome job. I have an amazing staff, and I have an amazing life. And so just think about all the other positive things that you have in your life that can kind of hopefully pull you help you out a little bit. And listen, do I take my advice all the time?
No.
But hearing everybody else, I'm like, I do surround myself with good people. I'm not saying that I don't, but you know, all of my good people, for the most part, don't live in the state. So you do have to look at yourself.
One of the young girls had a question.
I wanted to ask, how do you feel that you have like younger people looking up to you, and like, why do you feel that?
Could I take that one?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Jesus, wait. I'm about to get emotional. Okay, hold on. So, wait, okay.
Yes, you got this.
I love that you asked that question because I feel like we don't know it, but we play such a major role in the youth's like mindset of things, on how they do things, on how they see people. So, my niece is out in the audience today. Shout out to my niece. And she lives with me, and we're a duo now, we're a team. But I take care of her, and when I tell you, seeing her transformation from where we started to where she is now, I think you guys would be also shocked. Like, our team knows it. Like, my family here at work knows it. Crystal, you are this gem. You are such a light in my life. So to see who she was in the beginning and see how she looks up to me, and I'm annoying, guys. Although I'm this like bubbly personality, I could be very annoying, and she has to live with it on an everyday basis. But to see some of the stuff that I do rub off on her in a good way, and sometimes she gives me my criticism. Like, for example, this suit. I bought this suit, and I went out yesterday, and I was like, so? And she was like, it's a little bit too much orange. And I was like, that's the point. It's a suit. And she was like, all right, well, it's not bad, but do you have a different color? Like, but just to see, because Crystal years ago would have been like, it's okay. Like, it's fine. Like, you wouldn't even barely hear what she's saying. So I love the fact that I got to help attribute into how she is as a person today. I love you, girl, and you are killing it. So it makes me feel amazing. It makes me feel amazing.
I'd like to say something, because we are a room, and to see the young people and to have the courage just to stand up and ask that question.
Yes.
You know, that is great. And to say, and I've been looking out, and to know that people were actually listening. That you took the time to come, and you weren't on your phones, and you weren't doing this, but take the time to listen. That's what impresses me, that people wanted to hear what I had to say, or at least pretended that they wanted to hear what I had to say, and were focused, you know? But sometimes that's all it takes, and that's what's rewarding to me, to say, I may have made a difference in this young lady's life. And that's what I feel good about for me. Absolutely. When I can say, I may have made a difference today. Or to hear young people say, they ask questions now. I'm part of the Rotary, so one of the things we're doing is acknowledging kids in the elementary schools for being good people. Which means you don't have to be the smartest, you don't have to be the best athlete, but because of what you do makes you stand out, because you're just being a good person, a good neighbor. Yep. And then to hear the why. And I heard today that there was one young man who came prepared and had a whole little speech. Oh. But to me, that shows that we have a good younger people that we need to get to where we are today. Absolutely. And that's what makes it better for me, to know that there are children that are educated, even the youngest ones, and that they have this vision of and to be a good person. And that's what's beneficial to me, and that's where I see my benefit too.
It's also scary, right? Because we're gonna mess up. We're human. We're gonna make mistakes. So it's scary that you guys are watching and you're watching us make a mistake. Just know that we are human. We are going to make a mistake, but you move on. You pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and you keep on going.
And one day when you're sitting up on the stage, can you invite us all back to watch?
Exactly. I love that. I think we have one final question, or one final question in the back.
Hi.
Hi.
My name is Christina. Are we allowed to ask more than one question?
Absolutely.
Okay, I just wanted to check.
A little bit of time.
All right, so I have like two-ish questions. So, my name is Christina, and I wanted to ask about Playoki. Where are you located, and what are your hours of operation?
Shameless plug.
I love that
That's
question.
the best question I've had all night.
We're 1050 Stuyvesant Avenue, right on the main strip. Our hours are Monday through Thursday. I'm sorry, Monday we're closed. Tuesday through Thursday we're open from 4 to 10 p.m. On Saturdays we're open at 12 to 12 a.m. Sundays we are open from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. On Sundays we have brunch.
Okay.
We have gospel Sundays. Saturdays we have karaoke. Thursdays we have live bands. Every fourth Friday we have comedy night. Every third Friday we have poetry night. So come on out and enjoy yourself, all right?
Yes. Is it right next to the Chinese spot?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
What's your name?
Christina.
Christina, I'm looking forward to seeing you, all right? Ask for me.
I will be there. I'll be friends. Okay.
Right. I got your discount for you. Don't worry.
Okay. Thank you. And I am nervous. I'm working on public speaking, so
You
just
got
bear
this.
with me. But my name is Christina, and I have a nonprofit organization actually, and it is Lumiere Health and Wellness. It's all about giving access to healthcare and education to underprivileged Black and Brown communities. So my question to you all is essentially, well, let me start off with, I'm actually a full-time office manager for an urgent care. So I do this on the side. So my question is, when did you know to step away from your 9 to 5 or whatever you were doing from before and go straight into entrepreneurship and business all for yourself?
That is your question. That is.
I think I knew when I felt like I was no longer serving my purpose there anymore, and my purpose had grown. That was when I knew it was time for me to start my own. And when I felt that I had more to offer than what I could offer under somebody else's leadership, I realized I needed to lead myself.
I think it's also okay not to step away from the 9 to 5. It takes a lot of balance, don't get me wrong, but the 9 to 5 is giving you benefits. Like the 9 to 5 is there for you. So if you can find time to cultivate something that you love doing, you know, instead of doom scrolling on Instagram, maybe go ahead and put some time to do a little passion project, a little something that makes you happy that could also bloom into something else, like House of Playoki, like Brainiac. So it's okay to still do both when then the time comes to leave that 9 to 5.
That is true.
You're welcome.
Thank
Give it up for
you.
Christina.
Thank you, Christina.
So now I'd like to welcome to the stage, and once again, clap it up for you guys for being here for us. Thank you, and for our beautiful panelists. But I'd like to welcome back to the stage Committeewoman Sandra Terrell, who's got gifts to give.
First, I would like to thank Edith for making us all cry. Good job.
I like to make y'all laugh, not cry. I'm sorry.
You know, I heard a lot about perseverance and confidence and supporting each other. I heard a little bit about, how we should lift each other up, and I think it's important that we do lift each other up, but I think it's more important that we hold each other up.
Yes.
Right? So it's a good thing to lift, but we got to hold. And I think, again, I have a lot of thoughts about women running the world, and I think if we learn to really, really hold each other up, we can get there. We can definitely get there.
Absolutely.
So how about Edith as our... Great job as always, and how about these ladies? So as we wrap up our program, it's time to shine a well-deserved spotlight on our incredible 2026 Shero Hero. Our honoree has a strong track record in building strategic partnerships, driving business growth in the healthcare sector. With over 20 years of experience in the pharmaceutical, healthcare, and insurance sectors, she currently serves as a network development manager at Atlantic Health and sits on the board of directors for the Greater Union Township Chamber of Commerce. Her career includes impactful roles at Fortune 500 companies such as Verizon and FedEx, as well as a specialized work with Ingenus and Takeda Pharmaceuticals. A Rutgers University alumna, she has consistently used her expertise in business development and client relations to strengthen the local economic landscape. Congratulations to our Shero on this well-deserved honor, recognizing her exceptional professional achievements, steadfast commitment to the union community, and her role as a true leader. With great pleasure, I welcome and congratulate Nancy Hersons, Network Development Manager at Atlantic Health. She is our 2026 Shero. Come on up. So this is Nancy's gift. Award.
Oh, I appreciate that.
And also I have for you from our commissioners who had to leave, but they also wanted to present you with this resolution.
Oh, my gosh.
Which I'm not going to read, but.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
by the way, everyone here is a Shero, so whether
Yes.
it's formal or informal, I think one thing from hearing everybody today, and just in the walk of life, you may say, well, what do I do? You would be surprised what you do that you may not get to have the privilege to know, or when the stranger just tells you, thank you for what you just said. So every day you're doing something, it's just, sometimes you have to just remind yourself, and then when you hear it, just put that in your pocket. So when something's bringing you down or whatnot, no, someone said this, and I made a difference to somebody, as big or small, but we're all heroes. But thank you so much for this privilege. I appreciate it.
Congratulations. And just one last thing, which I'm going to work on personally, is not walking in the room and taking over, because I like to be in charge. I like my presence to be known, and I think we should all be that way. When you walk in the room, it's your room. Make sure your voice is heard. So I may or may not work on that, but but again, thank you all for coming. It was a wonderful evening, and I don't know, am I turning it over to you?
I
Are
mean,
we
if you turn
closing
it over to
out?
me, I'm just going to thank you ladies one more time for being here with us. I think there might still be some food outside. You've got a handsome young man serving you liquor, so go get some alcohol. And we once again want to thank you from the Township Committee. I also want to thank, I'm sorry, there's a couple of people that put a lot of effort in today. So I do want to give a shout out to part of our A team. That is Natalie De Silva, Jazz Marie Gutierrez, that's a mouthful, girl. Bill, Carlos, Sal, Kelly. Everyone here, thank you so much. This could not have been done without you. Our Township Committee, DPW, thank you so much. And I think we've got flowers to give. I don't know who's giving them. Maybe we should put the men to work. Carlos and Bill, maybe you guys? Oh, he's demonstrating.